Hey, I also wanted to talk about the current shift towards AI and AI assisted health monitoring, which is what I'm currently using, but I use Gemini and it's free and it's actually really helpful, but you don't trust everything that they tell you. You question. You question and you question, which I think you should do with anything anyway, like people on YouTube. You should question. You should question everything. So, yeah, I do anyway. So I originally started with ChatGPT, but I found ChatGPT got very condescending after a while and impatient. I actually like Gemini seems a lot gentler in their tone, and I question it a lot. And I think it's when you're using AI, it is important to question everything that they say to you. So yeah, I do that. So I wanted to, talk to you more about AI assisted health monitoring is moving away from a static sort of logging system in the apps. So you can already get like health apps where you just log your statistics. So it's moving away from that, and especially for conditions like Hashimoto's, there is app trackers that you can currently get right now, which are moving towards more predictive biometrics and cross-data correlation, which is interesting and very helpful for those of us who are trying to monitor and track our Hashimoto's condition, especially if we are adjusting our medications and our doses, or trying a few different medications. In my case, that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, while general tracking apps exist, new approaches and tools are emerging to make real-time data actionable for autoimmune and thyroid care. Emerging AI tools and tech in the thyroid space, dedicated AI condition tracker apps, dedicated specifically to thyroid autoimmunity, such as HashiTrack and Hashimoto's journey, integrating LLMs and vision AI. Beyond logging meds, these tools allow you to snap photos of meals and automatically access autoimmune protocol and compliance, link cycle data with symptom spikes, and map lab history and TPO antibodies for free T3 and T4 against daily biometric logs. So that's interesting. But yeah, I'm not that keen on the HashiTrack one, which is taking photos of my meals. I'm not doing gluten-free, that's why. So, although I don't eat bread, I don't really eat anything with gluten in it, so perhaps I am. I'm just not strict, so I'm not eating anything with gluten in it, as far as I'm aware, and I don't eat processed food either. So I am eating whole foods, so you probably could say I'm gluten-free. I'm just not sticking to it regimentally, and I'm not interested in following it on an app, to be honest. So yeah, I quite like the Hashimoto's Journey app, but it is a paid app, so you have to pay to use it. So I haven't really used it. Currently, I'm happy with using the Gemini free version and tracking daily that way. But there is continuous multi-metric correlation. The cutting edge of AI-driven wearable analysis isn't just measuring raw basal body temperature or heart rate variability anymore. It is running lagged across correlation models. In thyroid physiology, the adjustment in medication like reducing T4 or splitting LDN doesn't show up in resting heart rate or BPT immediately. It often manifests as a rolling 5 to 10 day pattern. Now this is true, I know this for a fact. So I'm in day 7 of my reduced dose of T4 and day 6 of increased dose of LDN. And it's only today have I started to see an improvement in my basal body temperature. But that still is going to fluctuate over the next few days until it settles, not until week 3, till it really settles down and gets an actual baseline, which is the same when you first start taking T4. It's not until weeks 3 or 4 do you get your true, is it saturated the cells, that you get your true of where you really are at with it, okay? So, where are we at? Clinical summarization. AI is patient talker, new consumer AI tools synthesize continuous wearable feeds, blood work trends, and daily symptom logs into clean, structured clinical briefs. When you visit an endocrinologist or functional provider, these tools convert weeks of biometric noise into clear trend graphs showing exactly how a dose change altered a recovery metrics over time. So that's interesting. Levering wearables and biometrics effectively. Since you are already tracking BPT and HRV, you are targeting 2 of the most sensitive indicators of thyroid activity and automatic balance. So that is your HRV, resting heart rate, and your cellular heat production, which is immune system vagal tone. So these 2 is very easy for you to track using a wearable. And it's very helpful if you wanted to track your own Hashimoto's, especially if you've just started changing your diet. So if you're deciding to go try gluten-free for your Hashimoto's, this could be a great way to monitor it, as well as you can monitor it using your signs and symptoms. But it's really nice to see how your body responds with your HRV and also your temperature. And you can just get a thermometer if you don't have a wearable. But if you've got a wearable, it's so easy to track it with your sleep, because your sleep is the most important thing. Tracking my sleep I found so helpful. I'm really obviously happier when I've got good REM sleep and good deep sleep, because especially the deep sleep, because that's when your body repairs itself. So that's super important. And if you can track these using a wearable and then input it into some sort of app, it's even more helpful for helping to monitor your own health and actually take charge of your health. Because I think that's one of the most important things. Is when I discovered, well, I've known I've had Hashimoto's for a long time, and for a long time, for many years, I was able to just wing it through health. But you can't wing it anymore when there is a lot of stress in your life. And if you're traveling, you've got travel stress, or certain things happen in your life, emotional stress and things like that, that really shows up in your stress metrics on a wearable, with a wearable, and it really does show up in your sleep as well. So this is a really great way of being able to track that and monitor your health, and you actually feel like you're doing something for yourself, not just crossing your fingers because the doctor has given you a medication and you hope it's going to work for you. You hope that you are going to be one of the ones that it works for, because that's just not always the case. So basal body temperature as a proxy for mitochondrial heat, cellular conversion of T3 directly drives basal metabolic rate and core temperature. Tracking waking BPT basal body temperature over 2 to 3 weeks following a T4, T3 adjustment provides direct insight into whether tissue level thyroid activity is rising without having to wait weeks for standard blood draw. So that's why also where it's really helpful. HRV as a autoimmune and LDN, low dose naltrexone, works by temporarily blocking opioid receptors to stimulate endorphins and regulate immune signaling, T regulatory cells, and raising baseline HRV, or a stabilizing HRV trend during sleep often signals that the nervous system is shifting out of a sympathetic fight or flight state, and that sympathetic inflammation is settling down. So in my case, I very much know when my villa flooded last September, October, when I was in Italy, and I lost one of my pets. I lost my cat, and I came back to an absolute mess, and I was homeless, and it was a mess. That's what gave me this original major flare-up. But prior to that, I had the signs and symptoms. I didn't have the weight issues then, but I had the signs and symptoms as far as I kept getting sick. I was getting sick all the time. Every 3 to 4 months, I'd be sick. I'd have a cold and flu, and that would take me down for like a month or more. Like, I wasn't getting over the flu in 2 weeks like my friends were. It was taking me a month to 6 weeks to get over the flu, and then I'd get sick again. So my immunity was super low. But the last straw was this last stress immune response caused incredible, like, Hashimoto's flare, as well as I was exposed to mold as well in the villa. The villa had a lot of mold because by the time I got back and opened up the villa, it was just moldy because I was still away for another 2 weeks, and Bali's humid, of course. So yeah, it was not pretty. Anyway, caused a lot of stress. So that I've been dealing with this since last year, trying to get a regular baseline. So I'm still doing it now, and that's why I'm reporting to you how my situation just flared up and got worse. So it got really bad this year, and it wasn't until this year that I really noticed the constipation got extremely bad, far worse. It's always not been great, but at least I knew it was every 3 to 4 days. Now it's like 5 days. And I can't do anything without a laxative, so that's not good. And the myxedema, which is like fluid retention myxedema. I have put on so much weight, and AI tells me it's fluid, it's not fat. And the reason why I'm kind of believing that it is because I train regularly. I go to a gym. I train at least 3 to 4 times a week. Resistance training for my bone density. I walk daily, sometimes twice a day. I walk after dinner. So I have a dog and I walk my dog. So I know, and my diet is good. It's predominantly I'm very health conscious about what I eat. I'm not eating preservatives, and I'm not eating a lot of junk food. I cook at home, and so I'm having predominantly meat and salad, or meat and vegetable. That's basically what I have daily. And I do have fruits. So yes, yeah. So yeah, I think this is really important way to monitor your health. Spotting reverse T3 drops, which is what I'm trying to do, because I increased the T4, which gave me reverse T3, which blew me up even further, made me put on more weight. That's what I'm trying to correct at the moment. And I'd started to, but yeah, the reverse T3 by increasing my T4 didn't help at all. So So when the high reverse T3 clears and active T3 reaches the cellular receptors, the body typically responds with a subtle elevation in waking temperature, coupled with a lower steady resting heart rate during deep sleep. However, so that's what it will actually happen. So I'm looking forward to that. How AI will power the future of autoimmune care. So this is really interesting. Looking slightly ahead, the true potential of AI in conditions like Hashimoto's lies in 3 areas. Digital twins for hormone kinetics. AI models are being trained to build a digital twin of a patient's endocrine system, simulating how specific doses of T4, T3, or immune modulators like LDN clear through tissues over time based on body composition and gut absorption rates. Early flare warning systems. By monitoring micro changes in nocturnal respiratory rate, temperature fluctuations, and HRV suppression over consecutive nights, machine learning models can alert you to the impending autoimmune flare days before clinical exhaustion and brain fog sets in, which would be so helpful for us. Personalized microbiome immune mapping. Future AI platforms will directly cross-reference stool microbiome sequencing with antibody levels to tell you precisely which bacterial strains are triggering molecular mimicry in your specific case. How that would be so good. By continuously pairing your wearable biometric trends with precise logging, you're gathering the exact database required for true precision medicine. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this unfolding, and it is starting to unfold now. As I said, you can use the apps, get them in the App Store or Google Play. I've just had a look myself at the Hashimoto's Journey one. I'm not really into the other one. Is HashiTrack, where you take photos of your food. I'm not really interested in that. And so yeah, these could be really helpful for you, but I definitely think that getting a smart ring, this one's a Ringcon, to help monitor in real time for automated BPT and HRV analysis is very helpful. And talking to AI, talking to Gemini. Gemini is a little forgetful, so you have to remind it, but it is very helpful for helping you track your health. And at the moment, I'm using that because I'm using alternative methods to help improve my health, like the LDN. I'm also using metformin, low dose metformin. I don't have diabetes, but I do. It is helping me with histamine intolerance. So I get a lot of like allergies and nasal things. So metformin's helping with my histamine intolerance and my tissue level inflammation. So it's another thing to consider. Now, I study a lot of longevity, things like that. So I'm happy to be the test dummy for trialing these things because I want to be better sooner than later. So if I can get my health better faster, then that is my intention. It's also why I use peptides. So I'm also using thymolin and thymosin alpha 1, which helps regulate your thymus. The thymolin helps regulate your thymus gland, and thymosin alpha 1 helps regulate your thyroid. Doesn't repair it, but it helps regulate and helps things to work. And I'll do a more detailed video on those peptides, and what I'm following another doctor's protocol on that as well, using myself as the test dummy. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I've said a lot today, and I hope you find this helpful. It's interesting, if not anything else. Just believe, yes, you've got to take your health into your own hands. Okay, bye.